Hi, everybody, and welcome to Comics and Talks. This is part 2 in the first week, and I'm excited. It's a brand new series. I'm working on a new graphic novel, and I've been working on it for a while now. The story has been like coming into fruition for the past 3 years, so it's like a long process. And I just began illustrating maybe 3 weeks ago, and I'm on spread number 5. And I want to take you into some of that. I'll be working on that today, and I'm going to be taking you in with me to talk about anything that you might have a question about in the process. If you're making your own comics or illustrations, if you want to learn more about digital illustration, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I will be happy to answer. And I'm sorry we're not going to be doing Figure Friday for a little while, but it will be back in a few weeks. But for now, we're going to be working on this. So it's exciting to see. It's a new venture. So I hope that you guys enjoy. And with that said, let's go right into Photoshop. Into our window if I can get us there. Let's see. Okay, I think I pushed the wrong button. There it goes. All right, let's see. There. All right. So it should be sharing now, is what I'm guessing. And this is a spread I was working on the other day, but now as you can see, I've gotten a lot farther in it. I put in all of my flats, all of my flat color, and now I'm just going in and going to be adding some detail. I just finished with the shadow, which is this layer here that I'm on right now. I have it at 40%. That's what it looks like at 100%. It's really bright. Excuse me, I'm drinking a Diet Coke and the bubbles. The bubbles are coming back. But anyway, let me put it back to 40%. And let's see. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more shadow, and we'll just keep going. And if you guys have questions along the way, and I'm just going to talk about whatever I'm doing, and whatever comes to mind is kind of how I sort of do these things. I just kind of go with the flow, and I think I'm going to even out his eye too. So this character here is my villain, the same one that I showed you guys before, and he is really upset about these foreigners who have come in and brought these teachings, and he's kind of, after they leave, he doesn't really do it to their face, but after they leave, he's like, all right, if these people come back, you know that I don't want you guys associating with them, and he's really against them. So you will have to wait and see to see what else happens. It's a really cool story, I think. It's really, I'm going to say it's really close to my heart. It's something that it's just been in my mind for the last, like I said, I've been working on this whole concept for the last 3 years. And so I'm really excited I can't even believe still hardly that even in this phase of the process, like actually bringing the illustrations to life. That's kind of really cool to me. And I'm just feel like I'm selecting these with the lasso tool, and I push Option Delete, and it fills it in. A little trick I learned from cartoonist Jason Brubaker, who I've been listening to lately also. I've been working with Photoshop for approximately, I want to say I've been using Photoshop for at least 10 years now. Obviously, if you're here for Figure Friday, you know that I do my figure drawing also in Photoshop. So if you guys have any general questions about Photoshop or illustrating Photoshop, have a long time. When did I start using it? About 2003. Yeah, I've been using it since 2003, so that would be 15 years I've been using Photoshop. It's a long time. You didn't know Photoshop was around that long. It has been around for that long. It was when I was in at my first college, which was the International Academy of Design and Technology. You're from there. In Tampa, when I was actually studying fashion design. My first college that I went to, I was studying fashion design. And I never considered myself to be a quitter. So I didn't want to leave the school, even though I realized fairly early on that sewing wasn't really something that I felt like I wanted to do as a profession. I liked making the designs, and making the fashion illustrations and picking out fabrics and stuff like that, but I didn't actually enjoy long hours of sewing. So I decided to leave the program after I got my associate's degree and pursue something that I thought that I knew that I had been interested in for a long time, which was animation. And that's after that I went to animation school at SVA. Well, you wouldn't really call it animation school; it's art school, but it's still art school. But a more animation program is rather, I should say. And now here I am doing the same thing that I've been doing since third grade, going backwards. Now I'm back doing comics. I thought about making this as an animation and like not for myself, but I thought about how cool it would be, like if I was ever given an opportunity to make this as like a feature animation or like pitching it as a feature animation. And I think at some points I would still probably like to do that. That's still option is still not out of the table, but right now it's like I know that I don't have the ability to do something on that scale right now, at least not on my own. But I still want to get my story out there. So what are the things that I can do? And this was something that I'm like, I can do this. This is something I don't have to depend on anybody. I don't have to depend over the top on finances. I can do it, just out of my own time and create something that I feel like is important to me. So that's how kind of, I guess, how I decided to go ahead and make it an illustrated comic, graphic novel, either one. I even thought about just releasing it as a novel because it's written like a novel. I might have told you I wrote the book last year, and I've since been editing it and did all my thumbnails, and now I'm in the stage of making these layouts. So when I first wrote it, I wrote it as a novel, but at the same time, I wasn't sure, I just wanted to get the story out. I'm like, let me have a story to tell. And so I wrote it, but I realized if I have the ability to make it a graphic novel, I have all of the, even though I've never done something like I said before, like a graphic novel, like on this, detail, so many, it's like such a long story. I still I know I have the ability to do it. So that kind of made me think, all right, if I have the ability to do it, then I should do it that way because it will probably get more people to actually have access to it. Because, when we write graphic novels, we're really trying to get stories across, especially to different ages. And I feel like visually, when things are visually accessible, it widens up the audience to people who might not otherwise get the story, like teenagers and I'm thinking even kids my son's age. My son is 13. He's a novel is gonna be really, really it's got to be something that he's heard about. It's already popular or something that somebody's, they're reading in school for him to want to go read it. But a graphic novel is something that he's more interested in. Oh well, I like the imagery, so I want to go and see what the story's about. It opens up, I think, the audience to. I don't know if I'm explaining it right or expressing how I think about it right, but I think you kind of get what I mean. I think you get what I mean. It brings it into that artist world too. Other artists, novels don't necessarily seem like they're made for artists. They feel more like they're made for people who want to write. You know what I mean? And I never really considered myself to be a writer. I always considered myself more to be a visual person. But I don't know. Maybe I'm going too much into detail. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Or trying to over explain it. But I'm just trying to get across that vibe that I went through into like deciding to make this. That makes sense. Hopefully it does. And so it can be hard to share something that feels like personal or something that, you don't want, like something that feels so personal that you don't want it to be rejected, because I mean, that is the risk that we take as artists. We put personal stories and things out there, and at the risk of it potentially being either accepted or rejected by the audience. So that is scary. That is a scary thing, and it's something that it's a risk that's worth taking, but it's still a risk. So I don't know if anyone has come into anything like that, or they feel like they have a story, but they're afraid it's not doing well, or people not accepting it, or maybe they're afraid of like their story being taken, or like their ideas. That's something that I know a lot of people, especially young artists, have a fear of. And I just want to say that, you do have rights with everything. You do have, even in this, odd world of the internet where everything's kind of everywhere, you still have your rights. If you put a pen to paper and it's your vision making something, then you own that legally. It's yours. So I want to say, don't let things like that, like fears like that, stop you from making stories, because we all have. I know that was one of the things that I used to be afraid of when I was a young gal. I'm gonna add some more shadows. I feel like use some in some areas. So I'm gonna see how much of this I can actually get done today. I've been working on this page all day today, and for several hours. During the week. Let's see. Okay. Let's see something. Okay, so let's get back into it. Just trying to calculate. Also, it's a good thing to keep time. So if you have a timer, then keep time of how long you spend on your comic or illustration, if you're making an illustration either way, or painting, any type of artwork. Make sure that you keep the time so you know how long it takes you to complete a piece of work. Some, like this spread, is taking like dramatically longer for me to finish than the last other few spreads that I did, and I'm realizing that is mainly because there's a lot more people. I'm having to color all these different people. Oops. And so that is pretty time consuming. So that will help you to make decisions about works that you make in the future, or maybe like if I do a next spread, maybe the next spread won't have as many people in it. But also it will help you to know like how much your project is worth to you, because if you spend so many hours on it, it can help you know what to charge. It can help you know the actual time value of your project. That doesn't mean that it's going to make people want to buy it too. I mean, and hopefully that's not the only reason why obviously it's not the only reason why you're making something, but every time that I've met with mentors and coaches about doing arts business, it's just part of the process, and you do kind of have to treat your art as a business in a sense, because I mean, regardless of what you want to do with it, I mean, you still should know what your value is on your work. I think that's really important. Really, really. And it's something that you're not always going to get told by everybody that you encounter. And it's just one thing that I think, at least I know that I can tell you from the people that I've met with who've given me advice. And so it's not good enough to just say spend a day on it, because I mean, if you spent like 2/3 of the day playing World of Warcraft on, and then like an hour and a half actually doing the project, then it's not really a day, you know. Or if you were up from like 5 a.m. and spent till like 10 p.m., you know, you wouldn't want to put the same value on it as something that you did like a quick doodle. You know what I mean? So it all depends. All that stuff matters. What else? Colors. Colors was something I had to think about. Something that I had to make decisions about. I'm really grateful now for the the color theory class that I took last year. It helps me a lot, man. I think the main thing is everything that you learn from color theory is like your complementary colors. I think that is the biggest part. I think the biggest for me key component that I just wasn't aware of in mixing stuff. That will help you too a lot. But knowing what your complementaries are, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's on every color wheel. You can buy a color wheel from any art supply store. But really, like learning complementary colors. Like I use complementary colors in this spread several times, even with, especially in your character designs. So I'm gonna move this over here. So this is a key character, and she is my main character's mother. And I really wanted, I don't know, it's like interesting like how I kind of like designed her for the first time, like right here on this page. And it's sort of weird because that's not how I did. I mean, I can't, I'm talking too fast. I might have like talked about this before. Like one of the first things I did, even like before like getting into a story or anything, was like creating a whole bunch of characters for the story. So I made all these characters and designed a bunch of characters for the story, but I hadn't designed all of them. I had like rough ideas for how I wanted them to look, but I hadn't designed all of my characters. But for this one, I designed her just right here on the page. And I changed her around a bit. So I had to, just because I hadn't designed her officially before, I had to like switch things around a bit until I felt comfortable with it. I really wanted more than anything is to have a certain sort of a look and a certain sort of emotion to her that felt like it was readable. So hopefully that carries through. But I did just design her right here, and I think I want to add some like patterns maybe to her clothing. But if you didn't notice already, I gave her like a blue tunic. I mean, not a blue tunic, an orange tunic, and a blue headscarf. And the blue and orange is the complementary colors, and just a little bit of detail, and to make her design more appealing. I mean, simple things like making the characters wear complementary colors, or even you can have two different characters, but one, maybe say one has red and one has green. Red and green are complementary, so they're going to look pleasing to the eye when they're both on screen together. So just little things like that will help you out a lot, I think, in your designs. And I'm going to look at some patterns. Maybe I should look through some of these with you. Let me see. I have some on my iPad that I want to look at. Let's see. Because I did a project that is related to this actually last year. I have an ongoing project. Oh, that would be nice. Ooh, that would be nice too for that one. Oh, yeah. Oh, so references, like I said, references, you're only as good as your reference. I kind of mentioned that a little bit yesterday. Not yesterday, well, Wednesday. And I think like just looking at inspiration can help you out a lot. Finding things from the areas where you want to tell your story, just learning more and applying that helps out a lot. Okay, let's keep moving. What else do I want? I wanted to add some. Let me think. I want to add something to her clothes. So this is what it looks like now so far. I'm gonna save this. And where is my page? All right. I think I want to add something, but maybe I want to experiment. Let's see. All right. I'm going to add a rough layer. All right. And let me add like a, I'm going to use the swatch, just a rough swatch to kind of get an idea of what I'm going to do with this pattern. Maybe like the leaves. I like the idea of adding like leaves to her. And then I like an African inspired pattern. Let's see. I don't know if I want to make it that big. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm using a separate layer. Or do I want to use like something similar? Let's see. I don't think I want to use that. Let's see. I just wanted like some simple embroidery, I think. I'm going to take this off. Just like that. Let's see. Try and make this. Try and make this a little bit more simplified. Let's see. Oops. All right, and I'm gonna see. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet. I'm just trying to figure out how I want this embroidery to be. And I'm just gonna keep going with the pattern. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I would like that. Let me see how it looks from it zoomed out a little bit. Zoom out. I feel like I should. I don't think I like this one. I'm gonna change it again. And then try again. One more time. And well, however many times it takes, I guess. Hopefully not too many times more, but we'll see. I want to make it look like. Let's see. How to make it. So, let's see. The shape's getting. Let's see. Okay. 1, 2. I don't know if this is gonna work, but maybe. Nice. It's kind of nice, actually. I think I like that. Let's see. Change that a little bit. I don't like that it's all like bleeding. Like maybe something needs to even out though. Let's see if I want this one. Oops. Now T. And move that. Will that look different? Alright, let's see. Alright, that's not bad. Maybe I should then move this one. Supposed to move. Show this one too. Let me see. No. Oh, maybe. Delete. Okay. Let me think. I'm trying to think now what else to do with this design. Make it come down at all here. Yeah. Let's see. I was thinking for a second to make the leaves go down this way, but I don't want to make it look like the Cadillac. So, alright, let me think what else I can do. Maybe. Ah, ah. Let's see. See for just that will be down. Maybe I'll try that. See how I like that. All right, so let me try and do a more. I'm gonna name this rough pattern. I'll finalize pattern. And let's see what happens. What happens? I'm gonna use my custom brush, and I need. I showed you in the last video. So let's see. I want to use a red because I just feel like a red will look really nice with the other colors. Just because also what's what's kind of complementary is that the red and the blues are primary colors and the orange is secondary, but it's close to yellow. But the red and the blue and the orange I think will look really nice together. Try and make them more solid and space them out in such a way that I can do that. So that will be a little bit of a challenge. Sorry that most of this is pattern making. Hopefully that's not too boring for you. I'm just trying to figure these things out. It's just part of the process. Alright, let's get this one. As you can see, digital working digitally is not necessarily any faster than working traditionally. It's just less messy. It's nice to have access to it, so I'm grateful for that. Alright, okay, that's kind of nice. Alright, hopefully it looks like actual leaves. Looks a little bit like baseball stitches. I don't want it to look like baseball stitches. Maybe I'll add something. Okay, let's keep moving. And I'll probably put these underneath the shadow layer just so it'll, because they're part of the shirt that she's wearing, I want it to feel like it's, and also means I need to be aware of seams. So I wasn't really aware there of the seam. Wherever there's folds, you have to be aware when you have patterns. Okay. And let's see. And keep moving. Okay, just bring that pattern together. Alright, I'm gonna make this. Let's see. So this is the pattern I made. Not sure yet how I feel about it. Is it worth it? I'm not sure about it. Maybe there's not enough. And it just feels like maybe there's not enough. Yeah, add some. Add some. I'm just gonna freehand right now. Let's see. How do I feel about it? And let's see if I can do that on the other side. All right, let's keep moving. All right, let's see. Ah, that's better, I think. It helps a little bit more detail helps on this one. It might be a little bit of a thing, a little bit, a lot of detail. So that's one thing you have to like pay attention to with your designs. If they have a lot of detail, wondering if it's worth it to, you're gonna have to reach out many times. But sometimes I think it is worth it. Like in this case, I think it's worth it. Just to make heart. I think it's Anything else? Some hair, on your sleeve. All right. And just in case you're wondering, these borderlines are like the bleed off. So whenever it gets printed, it just keeps me an I guess a heads up for where the page is going to end, so I know. And you want your illustration to continue over past where it's going to end. So like this blue line right here is where it's going to end, but I still want it to print past it so that I'm able to, so nothing is cut short is really the goal. You don't want anything to be cut short. And I'm okay with this part, not whatever part I put past it, I'm totally fine with it not being in the actual illustration. All right, so now let's save. And let's see, I think I want to add a little bit more shadow actually. Just to one or two spots right here. And I think I'm going to add it right over here to this side of this building. Just add a little bit of shadow. I go back to my shadow layer and let me make it 100% just so I can see what I'm doing. Just so I can pick that shadow color back up actually. So that's my shadow color. So I'm going to pick Option Delete, filling it, and put it right back to 40%. All right. All right. So I think my coloring for the most part is done, and my shadowing for the most part is done. The only thing now I have to do is to add some highlights, and I'm going to add some glow effects, and I'm going to add texture, another texture. I have a watercolor paper texture already on it. You can see the difference when I take that off. That's what it looks like plain. But I like the sense of it being a bit textured. So I added a watercolor texture. And I'm going to add some highlights. And then, of course, at the very end, after I finish all of that, I'll add in, I will add in my text. You cannot, I mean, it's funny because, I mean, I think that it's so visually telling. Sometimes, like, you don't even feel like you need the text, but you still need the text. So I still have to add in the text in a couple of spots. Well, I still have to add in the text for the page, obviously. Fill in that color. What else? And let's see. All right, and I'm going to add a layer for my highlights. Label that layer white, and I'm going to get a white pen, brush, and start just adding some whites all around. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first panel and just start adding some highlights wherever I feel like you need them. How big should I make the brush? Slightly big. And I go in and go for it. Where I feel. I'm going to change the type of layer, and I'm going to change the opacity on my whites after the fact, but I want to just get all of my whites in there first before I that looks nice. Even think about that. So I want it to be in full effect first, and then I'll go ahead back and start to think about changing the actual brightness of my whites, not making them stand out so drastically, but they'll still stand out. Should I save every moment I remember to? This guy just looks mean, doesn't he? He looks like mean, man. Mean guy. Not a nice man. He reminds me of this guy I interviewed with. He's kind of a mean guy. And he wasn't nice at all. He was just kind of really skeptical of me. He was not trusting and asked me all these like weird questions. It was a long time ago. I was actually pregnant then with my son, so that was like almost 14 years ago. And I was looking for a job because I knew I was going to need money, but he was just really mean. And he was, and once they, actually told him, I mean, I am expecting a child. He was like, oh, I knew there was something wrong with you. I'm like, really? He actually said that. He actually said he knew there was something wrong with me. Like, it's illegal to hire a pregnant person. It's not illegal to hire pregnant people. It's nothing wrong with hiring pregnant people. That's so prejudiced. But yeah, this was when I was pregnant with my son many years ago, and I was trying to get a job. It's sad that some people are just really prejudiced against certain things. Or just really ignorant also. And pretty much this guy is prejudiced and ignorant and very, very much hungry for power, which we will get more into. We will get more into that. But his whole motive in life is power and control. And sadly, that's the way that some people are in every culture, in every background. So, let me know what you guys think about my illustration so far. What you've seen so far, you have questions about it. It can seem pretty crazy because it's a bit of this is an aggressive spread. I mean, this is a bad guy. It seems more like a real life story because I think we've all seen imagery like this in our lifetime at some point. So it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I understand that. So if you have questions about it or like what it's like maybe making a controversial piece of work, this is my first time doing it. So I don't have a lot of experience with that other than what I'm going through right now with and trying to learn and trying to absorb information and trying to tell a story that I feel is personal, like for me, not something that I've gone through, but in a sense, something that I've felt and something that does feel really like something that I have a lot of questions about personally. So it is a personal story in an impersonal way. So hopefully, I don't know, it feels like I feel like taking that back. It's not an impersonal way. It feels like it's a very personal, um, everything about it feels like it's personal. Even though it's not me telling my life story, it's still certainly ideas that I've struggled with, concepts that I'm trying to understand, um, divide that I have seen or like feel uneasy about. So in that sense, it does feel like it is more of a personal story. All right, so let's keep moving. Let's see. I think that's pretty good lights for now. On this one for a moment. All right. Let's see more highlight on this area. But I would like to know, like, do you have stories that you feel like you would want to tell a story like that, but you don't know how you would do it in a comic, or it feels like too controversial for a comic, or like, or maybe it's not even a comic. Maybe it's something that you want to write, like, or paint, and maybe you're not sure how to do it. I would like to know. I don't want to be the only one out here. I want to know other people that are doing the same thing or similar things also. Or maybe we can share an experience or something along those lines. I think. Songs in my head now. Alright. Okay, gotta keep moving. Keep on moving. This part is the fun part. It's really a quick process for the most part. Okay. Alright. Alright, and keep moving. And go to this last panel over here. So there's too much white on our nose. Moving. Highlighting her face. I don't want to add the highlight to both sides of her face. So this experiment to see. I'm gonna make her face just stand out. See what that looks like. If there's any part of it I want to remove, I will. Let's see. Oh, it's time for me to go, guys. But thank you for watching with me. I'm gonna come back to this. There's so much more to do. I'm on spread 5 out of about 85 or so. So there's still ways to go, but I will be back with more. And I thank you guys again for watching. Please like and subscribe to this channel if it's beneficial to you. And please come back for more. And I'm so glad to see you. And I want to just say thank you once again. And as always, it's been my pleasure to share art with you and share learning art with you. And until next time, I just want to say it's already dark. Be grateful, live balanced, and be yourself. See you next time. Bye-bye.